Delay. Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Tactix. Welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast.
Yo, it's just Darcy here.
And this is Big Geek Umar. How y'all doing? My camera's still shit.
Hopefully you fix that between now and 2 to 4 weeks from now, depending on how long it takes that webcam to get here. Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, man. Yo, did you hear about Alec Baldwin? The news around that?
Yo.
Just saw that.
Yeah,
Just saw
that sucks.
That's really unfortunate.
So for our listeners, in case you haven't heard, Alec Baldwin, the actor, has unfortunately been involved in a very tragic accident on the set of his new movie, where he, using a prop gun, accidentally shot and killed the director of photography and seriously wounded the actual director. All by accident, just another like the Crow situation with Brandon Lee. And so like did you see the picture of him like outside the police station? Oh man,
he's
I
devastated,
felt so bad for
man.
him.
Was that the one with him like bent over and just like, and his mask like, half off and stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was outside the police station, but yeah, that is some devastation, because at the end of the day, like he accidentally straight up killed somebody by shooting them with a gun. I don't know how exactly, if it's like, because I was watching some interview talking about the somebody else who's a stunt individual. Obviously they're going to interview someone who does stunt choreography, and they were saying that like these things either can have like the potential of something being in front, but there's also potential of someone kind of happening around the side of it as well. Just if the prop gun didn't backfired or broke in some kind of way out of the way it was supposed to, or there's a projectile that came out of it that wasn't supposed to. It's really unfortunate. I mean, like, that's gonna have a huge impact on anybody if that's the accidental thing that you've just done.
And I'll say that granted, I have my issues with Alec Baldwin on a personal level, but like he's owning up and he's trying to
still, man,
this is one of those accidents that's just, it's gonna fuck with you for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
It's I'm wondering like what the situation was in terms of like who's responsible for that. Like, is it like the prop guy? Is it like who's at fault here in terms of that, right? Because I was watching a behind the scenes story of you guys remember The Punisher, the movie with Thomas Jane, I think it is. So remember how he was fighting the Russian, right? And there's one scene where he takes out a butterfly knife and he actually stabs him in the chest. Well, the prop guy forgot to switch out. So they had two knives on set. One was a prop knife and the other one was an actual knife. And the prop guy got distracted because apparently he was flirting with some girl on set. Forgot to switch it out. Yeah. And during that scene, Thomas Jane actually went for it and stabbed it's a wrestler. I can't remember the wrestler's name, but he was playing the Russian, stabbed him in the chest, and they kept going with the scene. And then the director went cut, and Thomas was like, fuck, I think I just stabbed this dude. And he's like, yep, you stabbed me. And he pulled out the knife and he's like bleeding. Yeah, because it was a deep cut, man. Like, it went right through, and he stabbed him here. So it was like
close to the
bro, like, so. But
tell me that's a take that kept, though. Tell me that's a take that kept.
No, that it's fucking earned. They actually used it, and they were like, "Yo, should we rush you to the hospital? Like, we got to get you checked out." He's like, "No, let's finish the scene. Just give me some of that." They have a special kind of glue that they use on set for like patching up stuff. So he's like, "Yeah, just give me some of that glue," and then they literally just patched them up, and then he continued with the scene. And then the director was so apologetic. He was like, "Yo, man, like, is there anything that we can do?" And he was like, "Honestly, like, we're shooting long days. I still got a couple more days of this shoot, so I wouldn't mind like a couple of cold beers just to kind of bury the hatchet." And he's like, "Really? That's it?" But like, anyway, to my point, it's like someone fucked up royally on that front, right? So I'm wondering if it's the case here, because I know that when it comes to like weapons, there's particular people that are on set that are responsible for that kind of stuff, right? So
prop masters.
But I mean, But I mean, like, as much as that could be the case, it also could just be that, they've done their due diligence and something still went awry, like, you can have like the best gun ever, like real gun, right? You can clean it, you can take care of it, the bullets from the best manufacturer in the world, and that stuff still can blow up. I watched a video of a guy on YouTube who does, like, I just randomly came across this video, and it was a guy who shoots weapons on his channel and explains them to people. And the reason I saw this video is because he shot like a heavy bolt action sniper rifle. One of those ones like the big caliber bullets, and it backfired and went through his neck. Ooh. And it was a story about how he basically almost died, and how his dad was there filming it and rushed over, put his finger directly into the artery of his neck because it went through the artery, held him, called the ambulance, they picked him up. He couldn't even get an ambulance. His dad like walked him out, put him in the vehicle, like drove him to the hospital, like intensity stuff, right? Like, and it was like, artery bleeding out. And this is a person who's like a professional, knows what they're doing, held the gun properly, and the bullet went the other direction. It just did. It's not like he didn't know what he was doing. I watched the video clip he showed of how the bullet went backwards. He didn't do anything wrong. It just happened that way. Things happen. So it could be that it's just the something broke in the gun and went straight out. And it sounds like if he hit two people, either they were standing in a line or something broke and went in multiple directions. And that's why they got hit.
Yeah, it makes sense, like, especially if they're like a director of photography and director, like they're probably like standing close to each other trying to get the shot, and like they're probably like testing it out, and it just like went off.
Yeah. Well, very sad and unfortunate. So
our condolences to the family.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, well, Umar, let's switch gears.
No good transition off of that. So
no.
Over to you.
Yeah. So basically what we're going to be talking about, for the rest of the podcast today, is a small thing happened this past weekend, where DC Warner Brothers basically unveiled their entire film lineup and comic book lineups for the next couple of years. Specifically, we saw a lot of trailers and featurettes for the next like 5 Warner Brothers films / DC films, and let's just say we gonna talk about it now. We're just gonna start it off right off the bat, and we're gonna talk about the first trailer. Not in order, but like the first trailer I want to talk about anyway, because I made the agenda, is Black Adam, with The Rock playing the anti-hero Black Adam. This is the closest we got to see what Dwayne The Rock Johnson looks like as Black Adam. I have my thoughts on the trailer, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts. So, Darcy, let's start with you, man. What do you think?
I mean, we did see him kind of like go up into the air and see like the CGI like body or lifted body. I don't know, but we don't really get to see his face. It looks cool, and there's something about this that makes me feel like it's not gonna work.
Okay.
like I don't know. There's just something like. Everything, like every time, like this photo on the left that Tactix has up here, right? This one in the yellow, everything about that looks like, oh man, he's perfect. And then there's something when I'm seeing his face now on the right, I'm kind of like, why does it not? Why does it feel wrong? Why does something about? I don't know, but I'm like, it's so early. But there's a part of me that's just worried that I'm like, it's gonna be The Rock in Black Adam costume and not Black Adam. You know what I mean? Like he's going to bring too much of himself and not embody enough of the character. I don't know why I feel that way, but something makes me feel that way, and I'm worried.
That's what he is in literally every one of his movies. That's why you feel that way.
That's probably what it is. And the thing is like I'm anticipating him like going the extra mile with this, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another clip that we saw before this one, and it just looked like I saw him a smile he gave, and I'm like, that's the Rock smile. But I'm not make that fucking smile. What the fuck? Like, he don't have that smirk. Like, look at this. Like, there ain't no smirk in this man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think he's ever smiled in his life.
Yeah, this is I'm sure he smiled before all the shit that happened to him that turned him into what he is, which might have been like 3 minutes out the womb. But like, you know, like he's just, yeah, this is not a smirking kind of guy. And I'm just worried that we're gonna get too much of The Rock and not enough Black Adam. So yeah, and I've been the biggest fan up until this point. So it's just like my intuition is hurting.
How about you, T? What are you thinking?
I mean, it was an all right trailer. I mean, or a teaser rather.
Well, agreed.
And you know, I love The Rock. He's very charismatic. He's grown as an actor, and he's come a long way from his wrestling days. And he is a very bankable star. But I've been fooled by The Rock before. I mean, his movies aren't anything to glean over. Like, they're all right. You know what I mean? I can't recall a movie where I was like, damn, man, like The Rock has some good acting chops, you know? To see him in something like this is interesting, but you know how I feel about like villain-centric movies, right? I'm already like, unless it's like something like a Suicide Squad where it's like a team up and they're like villains that are like, you know, or they're kind of treading on the line of anti-hero type of thing, then okay, I'm on board. But for this, it just seems like another Joker type of thing, and I'm just like, like I want to see this. I want to see Shazam and Black Adam go at it, right? Like that should be, that should be The Rock's introduction, you know. But to just have him be a standalone it's not really piquing my interest. I know that they're going to be doing the Justice, what is it, the Justice Society or the Justice, yeah. So perhaps maybe the storyline is going to be, you know, Black Adam starts off as a hero and then kind of transitions out of the hero role and into more of a villain role kind of thing. And if that's the case, then maybe it'll be good. But I don't know, man. I don't care. I don't care, man. Umar, over to you. Or Darcy, sorry, you had something to say.
Yeah, go on, Darcy.
Unless that teaser is the end of the film, that hero to villain story is not happening, because that looks like the beginning of a film. And by the way, on your thing of like want to see him fight Shazam in this universe, I know that needs to happen, and I almost don't even care, because I'd rather see him. It won't ever happen, but I'd rather see him fight Henry Cavill, right? Because the thing is like, don't get me wrong, the guy
they're going to do that.
Because the guy who plays Shazam in this is wearing a bodysuit. And that just irks me a little bit, right? But like The Rock and Henry Cavill legit own their bodies. So, I mean, I just like, and there's just like a physicality that they will bring to it that will be completely believable compared to when The Rock stands beside the guy wearing the bodysuit. It's just not going to feel the same as Henry Cavill. So I'm like, I'm not even as interested in seeing him fight the person he's most likely to fight. So, no. Anyways, Umar, you.
For me, I would have to say that like my hope is that it's going to be something as fun as The Mummy. Like,
which one, Tom Cruise or Brandon Fraser?
No. Tom Cruise was never in The Mummy. That movie never got off the ground. No one ever saw it.
All right then.
No, like The Mummy with the Brendan Fraser. Like, if they can give me that with like The Rock's Black Adam being, you know, the Mummy version, like the Mummy's role, and like Justice Society being like Brendan Fraser in their role, I'll have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not expecting this to be like a damn, because first of all, The Rock, I legitimately appreciate his love for Black Adam and wanting to play it. Hats off for you for like fighting 10 years to get this thing made. Having said that, Black Adam is not an anti-hero. So that's just you putting your own ego on something because you don't want to play the villain. If he'd said, I'm playing the villain, I'm playing Black Adam, I'm gonna be like a guy who you can understand where I'm coming from, but I'm the bad guy, or like what they did with Magneto in First Class. I'm with you on that, but the fact that they're trying to make him an anti-hero is what irks me. But I'm kind of hoping this is like an anti-hero that just like ultimately is bleh. So anyway, nonetheless, like I want it to be fun, and I also don't want it to offend. But sadly, I'm kind of like closer to Darcy on this one. I feel a disappointment coming.
On that point that you said about him putting his ego on it, like one, from an acting perspective, it would be amazing to see him push his chops and be the villain, because he would absolutely be threatening, physically threatening. And if he could push his acting skills to that point where he's just dark and he loses his charm, or he learns to flip his charm into intimidation, right? Like he can intimidate people easily, but he brings a charm that's unnerving, right? Like the charm that the whole audience knows to go in for, and he subverts your expectation by like, that charm, and then like grabs somebody's neck while he's charming the audience, and you're like, oh, because he knows how to pull the audience. But the problem, I know why he's not doing it. It's because he wants something he can have a franchise in, right? He wants to bankroll. And the thing is, if you have a villain, how many movies is he going to get? How many movies is he going to end up getting? Right.
Well, look at Loki.
Yeah, but you think this character's gonna be a Loki?
No. I'm just saying that you can make him a Loki.
You can do it, but he's like, I mean, now the way that they should do it is actually make him a villain and turn him into an anti-hero through the course of like him either, let's say he fights like Henry Cavill, and they come to like agree to disagree, and he's still a villain, and maybe Shazam is the one who turns him for whatever good writing reasons that they have, right? Because I would assume that'd probably be
Sarah Shahi. Sarah Shahi will probably be the one to turn him around.
I don't know his character enough. I just know these two people. So, but regardless, it's like
Sarah Shahi plays his future wife.
Yeah, I've seen him in like just the animated stuff. Okay, you know what episode I'm talking about. That's all I fucking know. Okay, but yeah, like that's how you would get the longevity out of him. You turn him and you make it like say 4 to 5 movies of an arc, right? Villain, semi becoming anti-hero, becomes anti-hero, becomes a hero, because we could believe that over time if you want to change that of your character and you start it in a clear origin. But yeah, I think he just wants to come out of the gate and be what he wants to do. So, what can you do?
Yeah. Okay, well, moving on to the next trailer that we will be discussing, which was not so much a trailer as it was like a behind the scenes of what the trailer could have been. But nonetheless, it was a featurette trailer that DC FanDome released, and that was Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I enjoyed the first one. This one kind of felt silly for me, but
sorry, you didn't think the first one was silly? That shit was silly all day long. It should be Shazam, the silly.
but it was endearingly silly, and also kind of it was fun, it was sweet, it was cute. I really enjoyed it. This one just felt like kind of like a little like they went too far on the silly scale and chose to like make it like borderline Power Ranger style, which is what's worrying me. But like, I want to know what you guys think. So, Tactix, let's start with you. What do you think,
bro? That end credit scene in the first one was of a fucking caterpillar. Like how much more silly can you get? Like at that point, I was kind of checked out. I'm like, I mean, it was fun, but do I want to see another one if this motherfucker is supposed to be a menacing villain for Shazam? Nope, I'm out. I'm out. So yeah, not at all hyped for this. I'm sure it's gonna be it might be a good ride, but man, that caterpillar. I remember I had to call you up. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that? Like, is that did they fuck up on the green screen? Who the fuck is Mr. Mind? Like Explain to me who this guy is, because I was like, this is a
He's
villain?
He's a telepath.
Bug spray this nigga, man. What the fuck is going what? Why is he a threat? I don't understand. Get some raid up in this bitch. He's done, bro.
Oh man,
Chris, you're done.
Oh man, that's exactly what that's what Deadpool would do if he just like randomly walked into the film.
Yeah. Oh, sprays him and the guy would go raid.
Oh man,
yeah, I'm not impressed, man. I'm not impressed. From what we saw from the behind the scenes thing. So here's the thing that I have an issue that I have when they show behind the scenes footage. For me personally, I don't care about the behind the scenes footage until I've actually seen the movie. Other than that, I have no context, right? Like I don't know what's going on. I don't want to see what you're working on. Show me the final product, and then you can show me the behind the scenes footage. So that way I have a little bit of context and I can say, oh, okay, I remember that scene. That's what they're shooting right now, as opposed to like, oh, they're just in front of a green screen jumping with wires. Like, what are you doing? I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. But yeah, I'm not hyped for it. You guy, I'm just waiting for us to get to like the end of this podcast, because you know what I want to talk about. So
no idea.
That's all I gotta say about Shazam.
I can't even imagine. Like, I thought this is what you wanted to talk about, man.
Nah, okay, but like, not at all.
All right, so Darcy, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm about as hyped for this movie as I am to befriend the Joe Manganiello knockoff here on the right hand side.
Holy Gallo, that's probably the biggest thing that happened to him.
I know. I keep looking at him like, man, is this guy related to Joe or what? Like, he just looks so much like him. I'm not hating on him for that at all. Yeah, the first movie had fun moments, but overall for me, it was a very C+ film, right? Like, I just was like, I don't know, it was too jokey for me. And I know some people were like, oh, they did it just right. They did his character just right. And I was like,
I know that I would disagree with.
Yeah, well, I was like, okay, cool, and like, and people who know the comics better than me, and I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. Still didn't work for me, but okay. Like, half the reason I went to go see that movie is because I filmed it outside my apartment while I lived there. So I went outside one day and I was like, what is that? And so I'm like, oh, that's Shazam. Well, I'm gonna watch that film now because it was just literally down the street from me. So I gotta see it. Same thing with RoboCop. The RoboCop from 2016. They filmed that by where I used to live too. So I actually got to see the motorcycle. Hey, I kind of liked it. But the motorcycle scene where he's like going through the city, yeah, I got to watch that like in person. So I was like, cool. But
I do want to point out that like the first Shazam was literally one of among the highest rated critically and also some of the best DC films we have gotten.
That's not okay. So much.
Yeah,
no, I know, but like I'm just saying, we should probably not hate too much on one of the good ones.
I know, but something's like how do I put this? In a sea of shit, anything that smells halfway to a rose petal is amazing. Like,
it wasn't that bad.
So I know, but it's still not like what I want it to be. Like, for instance, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna go all the way back and I'm gonna put some shit on something. Okay, now, okay. So we all love Wonder Woman 1, but I had a scene in that movie that bothered me in the first watching in the theater. Okay.
I got one too.
So we're like watching it, right? And then she gets to that scene where she's like, it's World War I in that movie, right? And she's gonna cross that like Death Valley. I forget exactly what it's called, but she's gonna cross it. And I was like, yo, I have literally run sprints in spaces that are as fucking long as what she did. That's supposed to be like this dead man's thing. Like, it's supposed to be like miles. And she crossed it in so little. I was like, it took me out of the scene, because I was like, how does she get across this thing in like 2 seconds?
Either you had a problem with a dead man scene?
Yeah, and other things, but that one bothered me because it just, for me, it was like, I wanted to see how hard it was, when it's World War One, like it's I don't know, for me when it's World War stuff, I wanted to like put respect on the name of what that battle was, and for her to like really have to fight in the trenches, and it just made it feel like it was, I don't know, Chuck E. Cheese of World War One for me, and it bothered me. I don't know. I'm just saying, even the best movies in DC have got some BS they gotta fix.
I'm gonna have to like strongly disagree on that front, but like we're not talking about that right now. We'll get to that.
Yeah, let's move on. I'm just hating on DC right now.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. On to the next. Now this film I probably could care less about.
Someone forgot to turn off their bringer.
Wasn't me.
I love how you focus on me the entire time.
Because it was your fault. That's why he wasn't him.
No one ever calls me. What the fuck?
I call you, then you tell me why you called me.
Yeah. That's exactly why no one ever calls me. They know, except you.
Why you calling me? I love how it's still just on Umar. It's a conversation. It's just Umar reacting to it.
Everyone's just seeing my face. Anyway,
this is just Umar reacts to his homies.
What was I saying? Right. Okay. So the next trailer, but this was not also a trailer. This was another behind the scenes featurette teaser of the upcoming Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Why?
You said behind the scenes, bro.
Oh, that's great. Oh,
they had
flying ass fish.
They haven't finished the edits yet, man.
Yeah. Yo, this is fly. This is fly.
So for any of our like audio podcast only fans, Tactix, I don't even know how to describe this. You got to say this.
Basically, it's old school Aquaman who appears to be flying on some fish, hovering over water.
Yep.
From
one fish
for
like each
retro
foot.
Aquaman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
one
also,
foot for each push and a leash.
Why is he gyrating like on that? Because like those fish aren't connected.
I don't know, man. I don't know how his powers work, man.
Wow.
Anyway, so the new Aquaman movie is we got some early footage. We get to see Aquaman in his new outfit. We get to see I can never remember his name.
Jason Momoa.
No, I know Jason Momoa. I'm talking about a Black Manta. Yeah, it's like Yaya.
That's a hard name. But
Yaya Latif?
Yeah, keep it going.
Anyway, the guy who Candyman. He is also. We got to see some footages of him. We also see that Ocean Master comes back too. Unfortunately, Amber Heard is still playing Mira. They didn't do the smart thing and give us goddamn Emilia Clarke like we all asked for. Anyway, so yeah, we just basically saw this shit.
Yo, I skipped all this. I'm just looking at this picture. I know this is behind the scenes picture, but this looks mad corny at the moment. Is he riding a seahorse in this? Is that what the CGI is going to turn into?
I'm assuming he is. Yeah, there's no way he's on an actual horse.
If they turn this into like a giant seahorse, just to make the jokes, I'll actually appreciate that. Yo. Oh, by the way, Umar, his name is Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
Okay, I got most of that.
You actually did. I just Googled it, and I was like, I just want to let you know.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes. Oh. Yeah, so the director, James Wan, is coming back. Literally, this is the movie that made the most money for them, so I can see why they decided to just, like, stick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't care less. What did you guys think? Darcy, let's start with you.
I didn't check out anything about this movie. I'm not super interested, but I'm not also a hater on this one like other ones. I don't know why, but I actually enjoyed the first film, but I also didn't enjoy
90s action. It was a 90s action movie. It was fun.
Who plays his mother again in the first one?
Nicole Kidman.
I could not stand her in that film. I hated her, everything about her performance. I just did not like her at all. Which is ironic because what's her name here on the left hand side?
Amber
Can't
Heard.
like her. Yeah, loved her in the movie, hate her in real life. So it's all around. I have difficulties with the ladies in this film apparently. Yeah, I enjoyed the first film. And being a fun ride. I think I enjoyed it more for the world building than than anything else, because just like I've said this many times, like the original the first two Batman films, one of my favorite parts of those films is the world building, like just being immersed in the feeling of a world versus close-up shots where this could have been anywhere, like where you are matters. And so I'm hoping that they keep that as a good element of this film to make it enjoyable. Otherwise, it might just be BS on the second round. So we'll find out.
How about you, T?
I don't care. I do not care about this. To be honest, I didn't even watch the teaser, or the behind the scenes
featurette teaser.
I did not watch it. I'm looking at all the pictures now for the second time, because I actually did the slides, but that's as much context as I have regarding the movie. The first one was okay. Much like what Darcy said, I enjoyed the world building more than anything else. But I actually watched this again with my girlfriend, who did not like this movie at all. She thought it was trash, and that says a lot, because she usually likes a lot of the Marvel and DC movies, but did not enjoy this at all. She said it was just too campy, and she wanted like more killing, because that's just the type of person she is. So yeah, she just likes when the shit is really dark with a lot of murder and guts and shit. And this had none of that, so she was not impressed. But
I know that vibe. My partner's the same way. Her Netflix looks way more hardcore than mine.
Okay, so interesting. I like this one. I just found it to be like the first Aquaman. I found it to be a fun '90s callback to like action films. It was not in any way like, it was just fun. It was an action movie. I enjoyed the world building. Jason Momoa is always awesome. Like, I just watched the new Dune movie, and like I just like Jason Momoa. So
you already seen Dune? You already seen Dune? We were just talking about going to see it together. Oh, okay, fine. I know how it is.
Did you not hear the part that I had already gone?
No. I mean, I figured you would have. That's how you normally roll.
But I said I wanted to rewatch it. I literally said I needed to rewatch it.
I see how it is. Second fiddle. Leftovers. Just second ride around. We all good. By the way, before we move on, I just gotta say this real quickly. From the early photo that Tax put up of his new outfit, I do not like his new outfit. He looks like the villain now. I don't get that shit. Like, you
prefer the gold?
Yeah, because he's distinctive. He's distinct. I'm not saying it's the best outfit you could ever do. I don't. I like the Zack Snyder one too for him, right? Which is a little bit more like muted, but like the new one, everything I've seen, I'm like, why does it look? There's one on the right. He looks like the villain. Like, he looks like he's like him and like freaking Black Manta went to the same fucking place. They got the same tailor.
I prefer the second one. Just that's me personally. T, what do you think?
I kind of agree with Darcy. He does look like the villain, but I mean, considering the look on his face too, I mean, both pictures look pretty menacing, yo. Like, it's just the one on the left you couldn't take seriously as a villain dressed like that. So
you clearly the hero, because you guys, Umar, you know what's bugging me about the one on the right? I think I figured it out. He looks like something out of like a cross between the bad era of Star Trek uniforms mixed with like Power Rangers in the 90s when they did their first like plastic movie. I don't know what it is, but something about it reminds me of like bad Star Trek stuff when they try to do something and then they fail. I don't know what it is. It reminds me of that.
I can kind of see that, actually, now that you're saying it. I just took it as like, it's like a nice, like a more interesting color scheme for me, because it kind of reminds me of like Captain America's redesign in a Winter Soldier for his costume, how they went darker for that.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite Captain America costume. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll like it in this film, but for me, I just look at this and I'm just like, I don't know. He just feels meh.
Well,
But
speaking of costumes, Mac Rain was like, I just want costumes in the new one to be better. So much potential for cool designs with the ocean theme that was wasted in the first one.
fair.
Yeah.
Snails.
For all of you who don't know, Mac Rain is an excellent costume designer, and like she can like make anything, and she's made my cosplay, so like she would know better than I. But yeah, let's hope.
Oh, I
Well,
gotta hit her up for this Halloween then. I'm trying to go as Red Hood, yo.
you got like until
Yeah.
you got until next weekend, man.
Bro, I got the remedy for you. Go get a red sweater, put that hood up, and call it a day. Red Hood.
That's Red Riding Hood, man.
Yo, it's a Red Hood. All right, get one of those ones that zip up all around the front. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
All right. Well, moving on. Now, this trailer that we're about to talk next, I know Tactix watched because I was there when we watched it. We just finished working out, and I looked at my phone, and I just wanted to see like what DC fandom was doing. The next thing you know, I'm like, oh, someone posted the Flash trailer. I mistakenly thought that they posted like the new trailer for the Flash TV series, so I put my phone away. And Tactix is like, yo, was that one or was it the movie? He's like, man, be sure. So I went back and I had to, realize that I have made a mistake, and he got mad at me. Anyway, so we watched the trailer together. So Tactix, let's start with you. What do you think? What? Why? Why would you bring this up?
Actually, I'm actually impressed with this. I didn't know he could do all that.
Yeah, that's actually
I didn't know either.
Yeah, I mean, this might be the what's
It
that?
might be a stunt double, yeah.
That's totally a stunt double. You didn't see his face the whole time.
Oh, never mind.
Oh yeah. It's shot from behind.
I was gonna say this is the most impressive thing I've seen in the last like 2 seasons, but never mind.
Yeah, well, that's why. Anyway, T, what were your thoughts on the teaser trailer for the Flash movie?
Yo, this trailer sucked, bro. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Next. No, I'm kidding, man. Yo, I love this trailer, yo. I was losing my shit. I couldn't contain myself, man. Like, and yo, hold on. I'm gonna take the camera off of me for a second because this is the part where I'm sure a lot of you all lost your shit. Right here, when we saw that,
Yep.
we already knew that this man was going to be in the movie, but just to see this and the fact that they never even showed his face just gave me chills, man. Literal chills. Just the whole notion of him coming back and donning the original suit once again. Michael Keaton, one of my hearing his voice, my favorite Batman of all time, coming back in this, and I'm hoping that they do the Flashpoint story justice, like very similar and closely to what we got in the actual animated movie, because man, that's one of my favorite animated movies for one, and then to see that in a live action fashion is going to blow my mind. I never thought we would get something like this, and to see it happen. Unfortunately, Ezra Miller is still attached as the Flash, but I will give him kudos for one thing, despite the fact that we saw him physically assault a young woman, is he's apparently been he's the reason why they've gone through he's part of the reason why they've gone through so many delays in terms of trying to get the storyline right. Mm-hmm. And he seems like he's very passionate about getting this off the ground and telling the correct story in a proper way. And so that I really appreciate, when the actor kind of takes a stand and doesn't let studios, I mean, I don't know how, like, actors don't really have a whole lot of power when it comes to the end decision, but the fact that he campaigned to get the storyline right. And I mean, this is obviously jumping the gun because we haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm hoping that his passion actually pays dividends and like shows up on screen, and we actually get a really solid Flash movie that also sets the standard for future DC movies, and they can actually if they're setting up this multiverse type of thing, then it can kind of course correct a lot of the bullshit that we've gotten in the past. So that's what I'm really anticipating and really hopeful for. And yeah, man, just to see Michael Keaton come back. Obviously, we're gonna get Ben Affleck as well coming back. I don't know if he's gonna don the suit, but yeah, man, I love the trailer. There's a lot of good stuff that we saw. I like the suit. I like the new suit, the new Flash suit. I'm a little confused as to why there's two Barry Allens.
Yeah, I think I was most curious about.
Yeah, I heard.
I think one of them is Thawne.
Yeah, that's what I heard. There's a speculation that and there's actually, so remember in the scene at the end when he's about to unveil the Batmobile, he's wearing a yellow jacket. So a lot of people were speculating, that's foreshadowing Thawne right there. So yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. So if they're tying it to really closely to the Flashpoint Paradox animated movie, then I'm hyped for this. I am absolutely hyped.
I just want to point out that like when Tactix and I were watching this and this point came up in the trailer, independently, but at the exact same time, we both yelled out, "Oh shit!" And it was.
You don't understand, you don't understand. Like, I was 3 years old when I saw this movie, the Batman Tim Burton 1989 movie, and I have two versions of it on VHS because at the time I was living with my parents were split up. And so they both bought me my own individual copy. So when I went to my dad's house, I got to watch it there. And then when I came back home to my mom's place, I got to watch it there. And I would watch it almost every single day. So yeah, I love this movie. I love Michael Keaton as Batman, and I'm excited to see him come back.
I want to give a little bit of information before we go to you, Darcy. So like the Flash movie is written by the woman who has done Bumblebee the movie and Birds of Prey the movie. She wrote those.
Okay.
Yeah, it's directed by the guy who did the two It movies. And also Mama.
Mama was pretty good. I enjoyed Mama.
Yeah, so that's just, I guess, giving you added like hope for this movie, I hope. Yeah, but Darcy, kicking it over to you. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, first off, that Thawne in the background like threw me off because I'm like, why does he look so much like Edgar Miller? Like actual guy looks enough like Edgar Miller that like when you're talking about the scene where you pulled off the thing for the Batmobile, I just rewatched that because I didn't pick up on the yellow jacket, and I was like, I thought that was Ezra Miller the first time I watched it. Like he looks similar enough to me. It's just like that he. What y'all don't think
it's the same?
No, it is. It's him.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, like it looks so similar and yet like slightly touch different because of the hair.
No. It's the same actor playing different roles is what our theory is.
Yeah, okay. And then we got Supergirl over here on the right.
Yeah,
she actually looks badass, exactly like the way that she is. I won't lie. I mean, it doesn't feel like the right time, but one thing I hands down, I'm obviously excited for Batman. Period. I mean, why? How would I not be? Right? And the whole like exploring that mansion is going to be awesome, and I hope that like, because I just mentioned this earlier, that we actually see like the old Gotham in some kind of way. Like I want to see that world again. You know what I mean? Like just to explore an alley that we never saw before. Like that for me is super dope. The other thing that I feel is more evidently important now, and even though it can feel like it's too early for a Flashpoint, DC needs Flashpoint because they need a reason to branch all these different things that they're doing off, and also have a logical way to bring things together when they see opportunity to bring things together, right? Like if the Batman like the new version was to be brought together with something else, they need a way to like explain this if they don't want to just have the most fragmented movie universe ever where nothing is connected and it's just like, here's a bunch of random films and then you're like, oh, this is cool, but I wish, but no, I can't have these two together. Like they need something to fix it. And so this film feels like it has to be a super pivotal and important movie to fix their shit. Like, not even
One can only hope.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I'm hyped for it, and I just hope it like, again, I hope we get to see Gotham, that original Tim Burton Gotham, in some way, and it's respected, and it doesn't just feel like a cheap representation when we see it, you know, like, oh look, it looks like his mansion, but not properly, you know what I mean? Because that world building was amazing. So, but yeah, that's all I gotta say for this one. I'm excited more than anything else we talked about.
Until we talk about moving on. The last trailer we're going to talk about was the one that I was waiting for since DC FanDome started, and is the one that I've probably watched through the most. It was also the trailer that showed up in the Dune, like just before the movie Dune played, which it was great seeing it in like theater. And that is, of course, the Batman trailer 2.
Actually, really, trailer 1. The last one was just a teaser.
Yeah, but
no, it was a full trailer.
It was a full trailer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they call it a teaser trailer because this is like the main trailer, because we
got a lot. We got a lot of stuff in that first trailer, though.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, so the second trailer that we received of the Batman. I'm gonna go last. So Darcy, how about you go first?
Yo, this is the shit. Like, hands down. Like, just the way they frigging open it. Like, just the way they open it. Like, that first shot at the diner feels like a mix of so many things cinematically, but just like the way that we zoom in on what presumably looks like the Riddler out of costume, or somebody else who's under the Riddler's I think it's the latter. Somebody else is under like the Riddler's control, but the way it comes in on that feels like when people reference the Seven, like that Thriller, that feels like it. But then the way the diner is shot feels like a Gotham version of what's that movie Ryan Gosling did the second adaptation of recently, and it was originally a Harrison Ford film years ago.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner. Like, there's like a way that the diner, the lighting looks. It has a Blade Runner-esque thing, and there's just so much. Like, I'm gonna say this: like, ever since the teaser trailer and this trailer, the one thing I'm really fucking happy about with Matt Reeves, really fucking happy about, and this man understands it, is the fucking world building. It's not just give me a shot of Batman. Like, I love the Dark Knight series, and it perfectly puts him in our real world. But we need a Gotham, and we need to feel like Gotham is that place that in the Batman versus Superman, when they referenced when it was Clark Kent talking to what's his name, Perry, and he's making a comment. Clark Kent's making the comment like, there's like this crime wave, and Perry's like, he's like, crime wave in Gotham. And other news, water wet, like that joke. But I was like thinking about that coming into this, and the fact that it's like Gotham has to feel like a place where so much crime happens. It's a joke to talk about it, because it's like you breathe and there's crime. So you have to paint a world that feels like it requires Batman, not that it's a city and Batman exists in it. And the world building feels so on point. The level of like what feels like a dark thriller in this world. Like, if you paint a world that's that dark, you give reason to make it feel like it should be a dark, horrific thriller vibe. And this character is just a superhero in it. And it's just like, this fucking shit looks amazing. The fighting looks amazing. There's scenes in this that remind me of Batman Begins, like when he's falling down. I'm like, oh, that shit, you took that note and you kept that. I love it. Everything about this movie right now has got me all the way. It's like 6 inches deep, all the way to the balls. Let's go. I am excited. Yes, I said it.
I'm
gonna get in trouble for that.
Tactix.
Oh man, well, how do you top 6 inches deep, guy? Like
7 inches?
Yeah, I knew he was gonna say that shit. Yep. You know, just whatever.
Man. Okay, well, I love the trailer. Had a blast watching it. I watched it several times. I'm a believer in Matt Reeves. I'm a believer in Pattinson. Although I'm not 100% sold on the costume yet. The suit still kind of bothers me a little bit. Mainly the cowl, and I'll explain why later. But yeah, that just wasn't really sitting right with me. And my girl also pointed out something else in regards to the way he looks in the mask, and now I can't unsee it. She's like, he has no lips. Like Robert Pattinson has no lips, and she's like, it's bothering me. And like, what's funny is there's that scene where you actually hear him speak. He's talking to the Riddler behind the cell, and he's like, "What did you do?" And it's not very audible. And she was she was like, "Yeah, that scene bothered me." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I think you kind of need lips to be able to enunciate properly. So maybe that's why." But now I can't unsee it, man. Like, so
if
yeah,
this ruins the movie for me, I will never forgive her.
Yeah, it's like almost a perfect film, just needs lips. like that's a critical comment.
Not enough lip.
When The Dark Knight came out, and the only complaint people had was, I just hated his Batman voice. Like, so what's your one complaint about the Batman? The man has no fucking lips.
Yeah, this man needs lips injections.
Yeah. but yeah, no, other than that, like, it looks really well done. Like, I agree with Darcy in terms of the opening shot, the way that was all set up, and like just the way that they pan to the mug, the coffee mug, and you see the little perfectly made question mark. Like, that's just like the cinematography on that alone is just so beautifully done, and something that I really appreciate. And like the world, like Darcy was saying, the world building looks phenomenal, and I'm truly invested in this world now. And the makeup, the costume design with Penguin, the way he looks, like Colin Farrell is unrecognizable. And like, it can be very easy to fuck something like that up in terms of like the prosthetic makeup that you use. And like, you would think that they're using a different actor. Like, you can't
100%.
recognize him at all, right? You can't see him at all. So I really like that. Catwoman looks straight out of the comic books. Like, I'm super impressed with that. And like Zoe, she looks amazing. I think she's gonna give Michelle Pfeiffer a run for her money, I feel. So I'm excited to see her performance and how she does
I have
with
a
this.
quick question.
Yeah.
Where do you rank Anne Hathaway? Or do you not even rank her?
She didn't really do it for me, to be honest.
Gotcha.
There was elements of her performance that I really enjoyed. Like, there was one scene where she's like pretending to cry or like be a damsel in distress, and then she kind of shrugs it off after. Like that, I found that to be kind of cool and like very Catwoman-esque. But other than that, it doesn't hold a candle to Michelle Pfeiffer.
So you're saying this one trailer completely outshines Anne Hathaway?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm basing it on look alone. Like Zoe Kravitz just has this, the way that she looks, and like her features like are very sultry, and
I'm with you.
And not like Anne Hathaway is a beautiful woman. I'm not discrediting that. She just didn't have that Catwoman like essence to her. You know what I mean? Michelle Pfeiffer had it. Like, she was cat shit crazy, so it worked. Like, and she looked the part of being cat shit crazy, so you could actually see that, right? With Anne Hathaway, I didn't get the Catwoman that I wanted or that I was used to from the comics or the animated series, right? So with Zoe, I can definitely see that, right? So even like there was even that scene where she walks up to Batman and she puts her hand on his chest, and like that scene alone was enough to sell me on like, okay, she knows what she's doing. Like, that's Catwoman right there. So I really like that. I like the mystique around the Riddler, how we never see his face. Up until this point, we've never seen his face yet, right? We kind of see him a little bit in his mask. And so I feel like they're setting that up. Like, I don't know if that's going to be like the whole movie or if they're just specifically doing that for the trailer. And if it's just for the trailer, then I can really appreciate that, because editors, like me being a former editor from back in the day, I know that it is a loveless job, because if you do a good job, nobody notices. But if you do a poor job, everybody points that out. I was like, oh, that wasn't edited right. Like, something was off about that. So it's a very loveless job. And the fact that, like, just if you watch that trailer and the way that they sync a lot of the action beats with the music and the score and everything, like it's something that I truly genuinely appreciate as a former editor. And yeah, they edited the shit out of this movie, out of this trailer so far. So I really like that. Yeah, I'm hyped for this, man. I'm hoping that it doesn't get delayed by any bullshit to come in the future, because it comes out in March, which is like pretty much my birthday. So like, this is going to be a birthday treat for me if it remains on schedule, and I'm super excited for it. So yeah.
All right, before I go on, I just want to point to some comments. So Ron R says, I like the trailer, but I'm not trying to get my hopes up. Too late for us. It's just that train is gone, Ron R. If you can hold out, you do you, girl. But like, nah. Then Maybot says Zoe Kravitz looks bomb. She already has sultry cat-like features. Amen to that. Hathaway has died.
you would like, I mean, yes, but he's like, amen to that,
bro. No further comment.
He's like, you think she's hot? Nah, I mean, I don't.
I stopped speaking mid-sentence and I just couldn't look away. Anyway, Maybot was also saying Hathaway was neither Selena Kyle nor Catwoman for me. You know what? That's actually a fair statement. I can kind of get behind that. Mac Raim is like, where's the love for Halle Berry's Catwoman?
There will always be love for Halle Berry, just not Halle Berry as Catwoman.
Yeah, right. Even Halle Berry has sworn that movie off.
Yeah,
you know what's funny? So I agree. The Selena Kyle Hathaway is neither Selena Kyle or Catwoman. I agree with that, and I think it has a lot to do with the world that they were trying to set up. And I just don't feel like they quite got that Catwoman character right. Even if it was a different actor, I don't feel like they quite like gave that character enough to actually be that. Halle Berry did get the semi-sultry part down, but the movie was just
agreed.
trash.
No, definitely.
Halle Berry knows how to sell the sexy part of it.
Yeah.
But that's really the only thing correct in that entire film, is that she's a beautiful, sexy woman who knows how to be a beautiful, sexy woman. And that's about the end of her whole character.
I haven't seen the movie, so like I'm just like, I think I may be the only one. Dude, I was like, my friends stopped me from watching that.
Oh movie. No. Your friends are legit. There's you know that the guy that I sent you who does those like reviews, the Cosmonaut Quickie. He has the best video about that film. And that's the only time I think you should ever watch that film, is when I send you that video, so you can laugh about how bad that film is from his perspective.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So now discussing my views on the trailer. Now, everyone knows I can be rather critical, especially when it comes to Batman.
Okay. Proceed. Sorry, that was rude. Go on.
I will say that I do have mild nitpicks about this trailer and / adaptation, but I want to stress mild because I fucking love this trailer. This gave me back my hope and my dreams. And like Ron R was saying, like she didn't want to get her hopes up. that's what I was like before this trailer came out. I'm like, I'm not gonna let I'm not gonna let Matt Reeves do what he did with the first one. Like, I've been brokenhearted, and I'm now wiser, and I'm cynical, and I'm bitter. And then this trailer happened, and I was like, I fell in love all over again, and God damn it. But it's really just two things, and it's entirely focused towards Robert Pattinson. It's not about his lips, but I mean, now it is. Like, it's definitely like now I have three nitpicks.
You can't see it, bro.
Yeah, I wish you had given us like a choice of whether to let it. Like, literally, all of us have not been victim to this, and like we're all gonna watch that movie and we're gonna be like, he got fucking no lips in there. But anyway, so that's one nitpick. The second nitpick, I do not like the fact that the Batsuit is like so incredibly bulletproof. Like, he was taking like 10 people shooting him, and he just walked up to them while they were shooting him like it was nothing. I don't know. That just bothered me. He's supposed to be quick. He's supposed to move fast. He's not supposed to have like body armor that, like, unless he goes into like Batman Beyond, then yeah, Batman Beyond, like, you could shoot him all day and it won't do anything. But I don't know, man. Like, he's still like in his first or second year of Batman. Anyway, so that's one nitpick. Second nitpick, he looks out of control. And nothing showed that more than when he was interrogating Riddler and just, without his lips, yelled out, "What have you done?"
What have you done?
First of all, I had to watch it 3 times to figure out what he said.
Yeah, exactly. The man ain't got no lips. He can't talk. You need lips to talk, bro. A tongue and lips.
The interrogation is to find his lips. What have you done?
Can you imagine the person he's interrogating is like, "You said what?"
Like, what'd you say, bro?
Like,
it's like the Christian Bale effect, where that raspy voice, but instead he's got no lips. Like, what have you done?
I, honest to God, the first 2 times I thought he said, "Where is the gun?" And so, like, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what gun? And also, why does he care so much? But then I'm like, wait, is he saying, "What have you done?" Because that would make a lot more sense. Anyways,
poor deaf people, they won't even be able to read what he's saying.
I had to CC it. I had to CC it for me to find out what he was saying.
Yeah, but you couldn't even read his lips.
You can't read what's not there.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
So I feel bad. We're like mercilessly going after Robert Pattinson. Like, anyway, he just seems out of control. And especially in an interrogation, like, I wanted him to at least be somewhat cunning, or at like some level of like interest. Like, he's doing things his way, but I guess that's just my hopes. Now, those are my nitpicks. Now let's get down to what I loved. Bro, fucking everything. I love seeing Alfred. It's interesting that he has a scar, but still nonetheless loved seeing it. Catwoman is perfect. And the Penguin, I knew Colin Farrell could do it, and then I saw this trailer, and I'm like, okay, he sufficiently exceeded at my expectations. I cannot wait to see Paul Dano, like, because we haven't seen him at all. I cannot wait to see his interactions in general. Also, I've heard that this is not a an origin film for Batman. This is an origin film for his villains, specifically Catwoman, Penguin, and Riddler. And I love that aspect. Yes, we're getting the world building that we need. And I agree with you, Darcy. Like, you feel that crime is everywhere in the city just from a trailer. Can you imagine what it would be like when we're actually watching this film? And like, what I love is the feel. And we're getting Seven mixed with Batman. We're getting 0 Year, Long Halloween mixed with live action Batman. I believe in Matt Reeves, and like, I my hopes are high. Here I am. I'm here for this, and just seeing him fight, and just how brutal his tactics are, and almost as if like it's like, and also like that scene where you see him like just standing over like all the things he's written on the ground, like he's trying to figure out a puzzle. Thank you. Yes, that's Batman. That's what we want to see. We want to see, and the fact that it looks like a film noir where like there's a femme fatale and like love can't exist. That's amazing, and like just seeing him even say to Alfred, I don't care what happens to me. That makes sense to a Bruce Wayne that doesn't want to be Bruce Wayne. It was Alfred that always pushed him to be more Bruce Wayne, to kind of do good in that aspect. And it sounds like that's what's going to happen again here. But like, it's almost like we're seeing the Riddler bring out the detective in him, as opposed to all the other movies where we've just seen like him having to like face the music or like fight his way through things while intelligently figure things out or having the right gadget at the right moment. Yeah, it just this is Matt Reeves is giving me the movie that I wanted for Batman, and it looks like this trailer is giving it. And the fact that like we're seeing like just like looking at the Penguin, like it looks like he already has the Iceberg Lounge under his like employ, like he is the Penguin before he's the Penguin, but at the same time he has the Iceberg Lounge. Catwoman, we've already said it. There's nothing more to add to it. And like I feel there's so much said by not saying about the Riddler so far. See that there's like this much mayhem, and we haven't even seen or heard him aside from like a little things here and there and like a couple of like video like footage. Yes, like this is what I was hoping for. And if this doesn't work out, it has to work out. Otherwise, it has to work out. Otherwise, I can't do it. I can't live this way. Anyway,
I want to jump in here because while you're talking, you gave me, so I had some moment of clarity about I think where this film is going to go. So I have a theory here. One, remember how when we saw the scene like in the original trailer where he was beating the guy down, in this one we saw another angle where Catwoman is behind him while he's doing it, and she's watching and seeing his brutality. I have a theory. So you said the Riddler is going to make him a better detective, right? Because the Riddler is kind of manipulating everybody, right? I think that, like you said, Alfred's going to try to make him a better person. Right. I think he is unhinged 100%. I mean, he is. We've seen it. But I think what it's going to be is that he's come in. It's not his origin. He's been doing this for a little while, and he's frustrated. He's pissed off with the way things are in Gotham.
It's not going anywhere.
And Riddler now is making things extra worse, and he's just like at his wit's end. Alfred's going to be trying to make him better, and I think, and the Riddler's going to make him a better detective to solve the problem. And I think the Riddler is actually going to enjoy and kind of wants that from Batman. He wants to make him a good detective because he needs somebody to solve his riddles, because otherwise what's the fucking point of having a riddle, right? And so he's setting up this giant thing to make him better, because it's like how the Joker and Batman always need each other. I think the Riddler's going to play a little bit of that in terms of, he needs somebody to make him better. And I think Catwoman might teach him to be more cunning. Because I think when you see that scene, she looks partly disturbed and yet maybe even slightly elated by what he's doing. But I think that she's going to prove to him that you can't be always so abrasive in a lot of situations, because she's a perfect embodiment of the opposite of being abrasive. So I think he's going to have these techniques he's not using because he's pissed. And all these things are going to force him to have to become the better thing through making them their origin. Now, one other thing I also got to call it that I loved about this trailer. I know you don't like the fact that they're shooting bullets at him, he's just walking through it, but that right there was his Darth Vader scene. When Darth Vader comes in and it's like the dark room and then the lightsaber comes in and he just takes care of everybody. Yeah, in Rogue One, that was like Batman's Rogue One scene. I was like, oh shit! And then like the lights go out, and then the bullets kind of like go in a spray, and then go in a spray this way, and I'm like, oh shit, Yo, that right there was a geek-gasm right there. That's what that was. All the way in.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna get some comments right now. Ron R saying unpopular opinion. I don't like his acting. That's why my hopes are not high. I can kind of agree with that a little bit. Like Robert Pattinson right now, for me, out of this entire film, seems like the weakest link, and that's not like he's not like sufficiently weak, but like out of everyone, he's the one who's not impressing me the most. And as you can tell, like all of my nitpicks have been focused entirely on him. So yeah, I can kind of see that. Macram says, I love that it feels really gritty without being edgy at all. It's a delicate balance. Yo, straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Umar, when you were talking about you think that this is an origin story for a lot of the villains, that really resonated with me because it made me start to think about the ending scene of Batman Begins when Batman and James Gordon are having the dialogue, and Jim Gordon saying something to the effect of he's talking about escalation, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that Batman has showed up, it's year 2, and now we have an influx of all of these villains that are coming into play and are challenging him both physically and mentally. I think that's a really perfect way to kind of set that standard, right? Because I like, even though they said that line in Batman Begins, I don't feel like we really got the true essence of that, like where it was like I didn't feel there was a whole lot of escalation in the Dark Knight or in the Dark Knight trilogy in terms of like the introduction of no, because I feel like with this, like this is the first movie and we already have 3 villains that they're setting up, but like in a way, hopefully that doesn't seem oversaturated, right? And if they do a second movie, they can use the same formula and set up other villains, but like not like focus on them. Like the way I hope that they do this, and I hope that they don't fuck it up and do it like how they did it in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where Rhino what shows up at the end and then they cut the scene and then that's it. Like you don't even get to see him fight. I hope that because I know Penguin only has like a small role, so I hope that his role is still kind of like pivotal in a way to the story, but is not obviously not the main focus of the overall story that they're trying to tell, right? Like still focus on Riddler as a central villain, but then sprinkle in other bits of like villains. Like there's also all this talk about the Court of Owls as well, right? So like give us those little nuggets to establish that this is an origin story of not Batman, because he's already been established for 2 years, but this is a long setup for other villains to come. Like even if there's like an Easter egg from that sets up the Joker, or like another villain like Bane or like Mr. Freeze or whatever, although Mr. Freeze might be a little bit campy depending on what they do, but
Mr. Freeze is hard to do in like a grounded
universe.
I would say leave him out of it.
Yeah, but like I like the fact that there's a potential for them to kind of really highlight that concept of escalation and showing the aftermath of Batman's presence in Gotham. And then to the effect of him being unhinged, I agree with Darcy 100%. I don't really have anything to add to that, but I like your theory, Darcy. And then you said something, Umar, you were talking about like the suit and how he seems like invincible or whatever. Yeah, that initially bothered me too, but then it's also kind of it kind of falls in line with my issues with the suit overall. It just seems very bulky. Like, and I understand it because it's like if I'm trying to put myself in Batman's shoes, and if I was on a mission to go out and fight crime, I'm not going to be just wearing fucking like spandex. I'm going to be dressed to the nine. Like I may be crazy enough to fight crime, but I'm not crazy enough to know that like, hey, I'm not Superman. I could die at any moment if I'm out here doing this shit. So I got to protect myself the best way I can. And that's like, you're the world's greatest detective, but you didn't think to wear body armor? That's not right. So I understand it from that respect, and maybe similar to what they did in The Dark Knight, where the suit kind of compromises or impedes his ability to fight, or it slows him down because of the way that he's how bulky it is. Like if we look at some of the other iterations, like, so I'll show you guys, I'll pull it up here. So obviously we have this one, Adam West. You know, we gotta shout out the
man was prepped for this part of the conversation.
Good segue, right? But yeah, Adam West. Okay, you know, obviously you're not like if you're gonna commit to fighting crime, you're not gonna show up in this shit. You know what I mean?
Man's out here fighting lint. Okay,
yeah,
man is out here fighting lint.
He's wearing pajamas, bro. Like this is not a serious crime fighting suit, yo. And then we have Michael Keaton, you know, with the, and this, like, you know, he had the body armor thing going and whatnot. So this was a little bit more of an improvement or a lot more of an improvement from the 60s version. And then we have the Val Kilmer version, another body armor type suit. And it just kind of goes down the line, right? So like, again, we see more of a tactile version of the suit.
I like Christian Bale's second one where it's like they broke the plates down to give him more maneuverability.
Yeah, so and they explained it well.
Personally, yeah, I like the explanation. I'm not a fan of the design of the second suit, especially the cowl. I found the cowl to be too bulky. I actually liked the original cowl in the first one. If they had kept the suit from Dark Knight, but then they kept the cowl, I think I would have appreciated it a little bit more. I wasn't a fan of it, right? This to me, the first one looks more authentic to what I'm used to seeing in the animated version of Batman, right? This one kind of just like the ear, like the part around the ears was just too wide, and it just threw me off. It didn't look like Batman.
It focuses too much of visual attention on Christian Bale's mouth because of how wide the thing is. Yeah, This is just fucking boss.
I like this one, man, because it's like it's straight out of the Dark Knight, the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
I mean, from a practical setting, it's probably not efficient to fighting crime, but I mean, he's mobile and it's authentic to the comics, so I can appreciate this. But okay, so and then we have this, and then the cowl is really what bothers me. Like the fact that it's like the opening is way the fuck out here. Like for some reason it just bothers me. And then they're
imitating Year One.
I don't like it. I don't recall what Year One looked like. But the thing for me in terms of the cowl, especially, like when we look at someone like Michael Keaton, for example, like his face, more so in the first one, although there was issues with the cowl was a little bit too big. So you could see like spaces in between his face and the mask. But if you recall some of the close-up scenes of Michael Keaton from Batman '89, like it doesn't even look like Michael Keaton. The fact, like it doesn't look like him at all. Like it's like a completely different person. And then when he's outside of the suit, it's like this guy is Batman. There's no way anyone would believe that this motherfucker is Batman. But then you see like he has like he has this certain look, and he acts with his eyes. And there's actually there was an interview that he was doing where he was talking about his experience on the first movie in terms of the cowl and how he was like he's originally very claustrophobic. And the fact that he was in the suit, like you remember trying on the suit for the first time, and he lost all sense of hearing, like because it was so tight and form-fitting to his face that he couldn't hear anything, he couldn't turn his head, and he felt claustrophobic and trapped in the suit, so much so that he almost quit being Batman. He didn't want to do it, and then he was like, you know what, I'm gonna use this feeling of like being uncomfortable to my advantage and really embody that as Batman. And it shows. Like he looks uncomfortable to the point where he's so menacing. Like he's angry. He's like, I'm fucking trapped in this suit and you're gonna feel my wrath, motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? So this is part of the reason why I love Michael Keaton as Batman. And I mean the suit is main reason for that, but I just like the overall design. I like the fact that they actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but they actually used Air Jordans as the boots. They basically just spray painted. Yeah, he's wearing Air Jordans here. They basically just spray painted it black. So
you know something about a lot of these like costumes is like when you have a costume that's more fantastical like this, getting to the shoes is a weird thing. right? Because it's like, do your shoes get fantastical or practical? Because they're friggin' shoes, right? We go all the way to like the Batman one, the one you're not as big a fan of. Can you bring it up so we can see it?
You actually want me to go to it.
yeah. I'm trying to reference like visually. I can't see it. Like this one, like when you put like boots on this guy, it's gonna like logically make sense. So one, at first, I did not like the cowl very much. And the big thing for me was actually that the faceplate around here has like this like line that goes around the front of his like cranium. But the thing that I realized is because I've like, you know, when they first started talking about this, how everything is actually supposed to be practical. It actually makes sense that they has a faceplate thing on the front, because like thinking about getting in and out of this thing when it's in the back is going to be so difficult, and it's supposed to be armor based, so it actually can take a hit, not something that's like you know, like flexible. So it makes sense he would have like a piece that he would like he whatnot. Plus, let's not forget that he's supposed I think we haven't talked about this in like what 2 years now, but the uniform is supposed to evolve by the end of the film.
Same with the Batmobile.
So I think what's going to happen is that he will need to be more of something else, and he will adapt to it. And it makes sense if he's so angry and tired of shit, like he's just going to come out here wearing freaking body armor and body people and just like not be as cunning. But when he needs to be more cunning, then that weight will matter, and he will adjust it. The whole like bodysuit part with the shoulder pads and all that stuff, I actually love all of that. Like it looks pretty boss to me, and it looks like something you would actually do. I didn't like the neck piece there, the collar, but I actually realized after a short period of time, one, it makes a lot of sense, because two, if you're gonna have a cape, like, and it's attached to your neck, it's physical weight when you're turning your head. Now he's got full range of motion because it's literally separated from his neck. So he's got full range of motion. Plus he's got a little bit extra padding and something to stop someone from hitting him in the back of the neck coming from the right angle. It's just there's a lot of stuff that's like, as much as it might not look as amazing, it's super practical. And if they evolve into another uniform that is practical but looks a little bit better, I think it's going to be amazing, the second one.
I think the collar is meant to be like a callback to the comics, to one of the characters, but
no, I agree it's a callback, but the callback, I think the original one's more like just like a cloth material. And if you look at this one, this is actually pulling from very logical actual army. It's like the same thing you would have on a blast suit if you were going to go against bombs. Where they have the high collar and then the helmet. And this one, it's giving him literal separation to do full range of motion with his head. And I for first I was like, okay. And then now I'm like, yeah. But I mean, he needs bodyguard for the lips though.
All right, so moving on to our last topic, while we are a little over time, but like we can pull this off. So given to see that DC, it has quite a few movies that have, well, some have captured our interest more than others. Nonetheless, DC's thrown all they have. So we got together and we figured, let's see what 2022 in terms of comic book movies look like, especially DC versus Marvel movies. So this is where I find it to be rather interesting. Now, recently, Marvel, I think actually like Monday, they changed their schedule for 2022. I think they got a little surprised by DC's lineup, and we're like, hey, you know what, we're gonna move our movies a little around. But for 2022, we have more DC films than we do have Marvel films. We originally had 8, where it was going to be 4 Marvel, 4 DC. Now we have 4 DC and 3 Marvel, all spread out throughout the year, starting from March and going all the way to December. I gotta say, DC is gonna take 2022, I think.
We don't know that for sure.
True. Now, like the Marvel films that are like, we have, I think, like Spider-Man, and we have Eternals coming out next week and in December. So 2021 is still having a lot of like Marvel still killing it. But then we go right into the Batman, like right at the start of the year. But then we have Doctor Strange, which let's be honest, we're all really excited to see what's going to happen. Thor, kind of like, I'm happy to watch it, but like I doubt many people are like, yo man, I can't wait for the next Thor movie. Black Adam, as we've discussed, I think we're more kind of interested to see how it will fail or whether it will succeed. So that's more of a question for me. Then we got The Flash, and let's face it, if no one else, me and Tactix are going to watch it just for Michael Keaton's sake. But like, we need that movie to do well to kind of fix DC.
Mm-hmm.
And then they give us Black Panther, which, I mean, like, I really want to know how that turns out. And then we're ending the year off with Aquaman, which I feel was like why'd you do that?
When you said like
I don't want to wait for the other ones. I don't want to wait all the way to the end of the year for Batman and the Flash. Although the Flash is in November, so
fair. When you said like the Flash is gonna like fix like we need to fix DC, and then we see that Aquaman, I'm like, I don't feel like we're fixing DC because it's like the same old bullshit coming right afterwards. We fixed it, but just y'all just need to just wait a bit. Okay, we still got more. We just wait till next year.
So yeah, so that's my thought. I think that DC is actually going to like sucker punch Marvel in 2022 and like take it. What do you guys think, Darcy? Let's start with you.
I think at minimum DC's gonna have one smash and three mess potentially. I hope
the
at least
will be meh.
Well, what I'm saying is based off the strength of what I've seen, and the Flash we've seen so little. Like we've seen, you're excited about Michael Keaton, doesn't mean the rest of it's gonna be good. So, I think that like based off of like where I put my money so far, based on what we've seen, we got one film that we know that we feel is going to be a smash. We got one film in Aquaman that's probably going to do well in the box offices because it's properly placed, right? Big fantastical underworld adventure, December, Christmas, kids. It's going to work, right? That's going to work, right? But I don't know if it's going to be a good film, but it's going to make money. And then we got two that are like they're real gambles right now. The real gambles. Like as much as like we might be excited because Mike Keaton's in there, and it's probably going to do well at the box office. I'm just worried it's going to be it's still not going to be amazing. But you know what? The Flash, I put money down. The Flash is going to make money though, because Michael Keaton's there. It's going to make money. It's just going to bring too many people like there's going to be so many people. Like the kids are going to be like, oh, the Flash, and it'd be like like both your dad, your uncle, and your grandpa be like, now we're going for Michael Keaton, bro. Let's go. All the generations happen. So Flash is going to make money. Flash is going to make money. Okay, but are they going to be like critically great films that we're like, yeah? I think we got one film for certain that's going to be like that's going to be like an 8 out of 10 minimum, and the other ones I don't know. Now, when you look at Marvel, Doctor Strange, that's going to be at least a 7, but I think it's going to be 8 because of the craziness. I think off the strength of the first film, I think the first film's like a 7.5, but you're going to up that because everything else going on, the hype that we'll be looking for coming out of Spider-Man. I think that's going to be like an 8. Thor: Love and Thunder, I think that's going to be like a 7.5. And it's going to be a solid film. We're going to enjoy ourselves. And Black Panther, that's the one I'm the most cautious about, but I think that it's going to get a good box office. I think that, regardless, there's a lot of love behind there with the cast, a lot of appreciation, even though we unfortunately we don't have our T'Challa anymore. Yeah. Everybody else we got there is a lot of love. I think regardless, that movie's going to be a 7. I think that Marvel has a higher chance of having a solid year, and DC has a chance of having quantity over quality.
T?
I think the Batman is going to be solid. I feel like it's going to be closer to a 9, just based off of what I'm hearing from people who have already seen the movie and what they're comparing it to. If they're comparing it to a 7 and it's a darker film, and on top of that, it's being run by Matt Reeves, who made us all fall in love with fucking apes. Like, it's not an easy feat, and he did it. So, I think Batman's going to be solid. Doctor Strange, I'm curious about. I have a little bit of Marvel fatigue. So everything else on the lineup is kind of okay. Like Thor, I mean, Ragnarok was cool, but it again, my rule is like if I'm not excited to see it immediately again, then it was just an okay film for me, right? If it doesn't have multiple replay value for me, then it just becomes a mediocre film at that point. So, um, so Thor, I feel like it's gonna do well just because Chris Hemsworth is also a bankable star. People love him as Thor, and I guess they're gonna be piggybacking off of the success of Ragnarok. So I'm sure that'll be good. Black Adam, we've already discussed that. There's not much there that we can really decipher in terms of how well it's going to do. I'm sure it'll be fine. Again, The Rock is a bankable actor, so even if his films are shit, they still make money. So I mean, hopefully he's enough to bring in the cash flow. But in terms of it, if it's well enough to continue on and create a franchise like Darcy had said, then I mean, who knows? I don't know. But you know, the Rock is very smart in terms of the movies. In terms of how he markets his movies anyway, right? Like he's kind of on that Kevin Hart vibe where even if his movies don't do well, he knows how to sell himself right to the point where he can get in the faces of the right audience, right? The Flash, honestly, I think it's gonna do pretty well. I mean, like Darcy was saying, there's a generation that it appeals to. You know what I mean? Like anybody who grew up watching Batman, Tim Burton's Batman, they're gonna be hyped for this, man. They're gonna be like, what? Michael Keaton's Batman again? That's crazy. Yo, I gotta watch that. I gotta see what that's about. So yeah, I think the Flash is gonna do well. I know people that aren't even really into superheroes, like superhero films, but they love Ezra Miller for some reason. And so that's already gonna be a big draw there, unfortunately. But I do want it to do well. I do want the Flash to do well. And I like the concept, and Flashpoint is a great storyline for them to start with because you need something strong to kind of get the ball rolling when it comes to the Flash, because his rogues gallery isn't super impressive. He's got Gorilla Grodd, Captain Cold. Reverse Flash is like pretty much like top tier when it comes to his villains. But yeah, I guess Mirror Master, you could do something cool. I'm just still kind of I'm still just comparing it to like the CW stuff, and it just comes off very, very corny. Like anytime we got like Reverse Flash, no, I know, but like anytime we got Reverse Flash, the tone shifted and it became a much darker show. And then when they started introducing other villains like Gorilla Grodd or even Killer Shark, it just got really, really campy, and they watered it down to the point where it's like I don't have an appreciation for those types of villains. So to see them in a world like this, and then on top of that, we have Ezra Miller being Barry Allen, and I'm not used to, he comes off more as Wally West to me. And so that's kind of messing me up a little bit. So I know I feel like they're trying to go a more comedic route. So yeah, but then with Black Panther, just to wrap things up, Aquaman, it's whatever. But Black Panther, after Chadwick's passing, I have respect for the cast and everyone attached to it and everything. It's just when he passed or when he died, like a part of my excitement for Black Panther died along with him, because it's like it's going to be hard for I mean obviously there's talks of like Letitia Wright taking on the mantle of Black Panther, and I love her. She's awesome. I first saw her in an episode of Black Mirror. She did a phenomenal job. Great actor or great actress. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. It still doesn't feel right.
We'll see.
To me.
We'll see.
And yeah, we'll see. It's just I've lost a lot of my anticipation for the film. I'm sure it's still going to be great, but it's just I'm just not as hyped as I would have been had Chadwick still been with us. So those are my feelings.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. Well, I have nothing really more to add. You guys, let's just nonetheless 2022. Even though we're one movie less than we would have been before Marvel like changed their roster, we got some 7 movies coming that, at the very least, we're not going to be upset going to theaters to watch them. But
here's hoping.
Here's hoping. I think Aquaman is probably the Aquaman and Black Adam are probably for me the weakest ones. But anyway, yeah. So volleying it back to you, T. Don't do that, man.
Oh.
All right, guys. This has been another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. Thank you for watching. I am your boy Tactix, signing off.
Yep. So I got my timing messed up there. Yo, it's just Darcy.
And this is Big Geek Umar. Please like and subscribe. Live long and prosper, y'all. Thanks for watching.